Chu Qing drew his spiritual sword, his whole body exuding an overwhelming aura, ready to fight Gong Yue on the upper floor. Despite Chu Qing's seriousness, Gong Yue casually raised her hand in surrender, teasing, "Are you practicing?" In Chu Qing's heart, this was the first time he met a woman with such overwhelming strength, stronger than anyone he had ever known. Gong Yue smiled confidently, affirming before leaving that Chu Qing was completely worthy of being her husband. She felt he was very familiar. However, Chu Qing coldly replied that he did not want to marry, disliked the word marriage, and even less wanted to become anyone's husband. Gong Yue gently responded to Chu Qing's refusal, admitting that his current strength was still insufficient to achieve that ideal. However, she also revealed her rebellious thoughts. She did not believe that women must marry men. Gong Yue was embarrassed but sincere, sharing that since childhood she had many unusual thoughts and was not well liked. She considered herself lucky that her current fiancé was both strong and handsome. Chu Qing was cautious, thinking she was trying to make him let down his guard. Gong Yue denied Chu Qing's speculation, showing sincerity and determination. She declared that sooner or later Chu Qing would be hers, while warning him not to take this relationship lightly if he did not want to suffer consequences. Chu Qing came up with an idea to escape this awkward situation. He asked what if he passed the National University entrance exam, implying he would have his own future and could not be bound by marriage. Gong Yue burst out laughing at Chu Qing's declaration, treating it as a joke. Chu Qing was helpless, sweating while the other side maintained absolute confidence. Chu Qing muttered on the way home, recalling the previous argument. He swore he would embarrass Gong Yue if he got accepted into the National University. Gong Yue still followed closely behind, talking non-stop. She teased while analyzing probabilities, appearing humorous but full of ironic mockery. Exhausted from the psychological torture, Chu Qing immediately quickened his pace, deciding to ignore everything to escape. However, Gong Yue continued to chase after him, revealing a strange secret. All male students entering the National University must undergo gender transition. After hearing this, Chu Qing fell silent, his face full of disappointment. He stopped, eyes stunned. Gong Yue's absurd teasing left him unsure whether to be angry or helpless. Gong Yue suddenly placed her hand on Chu Qing's stomach, startling him and making him extremely embarrassed. Chu Qing was angry, clenching his fiery fists ready to react, but Gong Yue held him back, anxiously stopping him. "Calm down." Gong Yue changed her tone to sweet and gently reassured Chu Qing. "I won't do anything." 2 days later, the atmosphere at the stadium was lively, with an athletics competition between high schools. Chu Qing diligently studied English, with a clear image of Gong Yue in his mind. He was determined. "I must pass the National University entrance exam." While focusing on reviewing English, Chu Qing was asked by a curly-haired classmate why he wasn't out on the field competing, since he belonged to the school's boys' basketball team. Chu Qing coldly replied that no one informed him, and he was not interested in participating. Xiao Wu appeared, wearing the number 5 basketball uniform, delivering a message from Brother Zhu that there was a game this afternoon and reminding Chu Qing not to forget to show up. Still with an indifferent expression, Chu Qing flipped through his book and replied, "I don't have time," which visibly upset Xiao Wu. Refusing to accept the rejection, Xiao Wu stood opposite Chu Qing, firmly emphasizing that he must be there this afternoon, while snatching the book from Chu Qing's hands as if to force him. The English book flew straight out of the stands, falling into the spectator area. This act was like a silent declaration of war, signaling an unavoidable confrontation between study and sports. Xiao Wu angrily turned his back and left, after being rejected by Chu Qing regarding the basketball team's message. Chu Qing glared, his eyes flashing determination when insulted and pressured. He coldly took a thick book from the desk. Unable to hold back any longer, Chu Qing threw the book straight at Xiao Wu's head, delivering a stunning blow. Xiao Wu shouted angrily, clutching his head, furious at the sudden attack. "You dare hit me? Are you crazy?" Chu Qing stood up, his aura overwhelming, filling the space. The friend beside him also held his breath, watching. Chu Qing glared at Xiao Wu, ordering coldly, "Pick up my book immediately." Xiao Wu angrily shouted, unable to believe his ears when he heard Chu Qing give the order. "You dare to order me?" Unable to control his emotions, Xiao Wu lunged at Chu Qing with an angry face, yelling, "Are you tired of living?" Chu Qing easily dodged to the side, surprised to realize Xiao Wu was only aiming at his hair. "What the hell? He just wants to grab my hair." Yimao quickly rushed over and hugged Xiao Wu tightly from behind, trying to stop his friend who was losing control. Yimao, let me go. I have to choke him. The struggle ended with a dog bite. Xiao Wu angrily bit Yimao's shoulder, causing him to shout in pain. Ouch! As Xiao Wu was about to strike back, a hand suddenly grabbed his wrist tightly, stopping his aggressive action. Chu Qing stood between the two, his gaze cold. Yimao was startled, while Xiao Wu still refused to stop, glaring resentfully at Chu Qing as the crowd cheered, thinking it was a joke. Losing his temper, Chu Qing applied an arm lock, causing Xiao Wu to scream in pain and step back due to the sudden injury. Xiao Wu shouted loudly, accusing Chu Qing of injuring him and threatening that Brother Zhuo won't let this go. Chu Qing unleashed a murderous aura, forcing Xiao Wu to apologize immediately. Under the terrible pressure, Xiao Wu panicked and begged for forgiveness, crying and apologizing for throwing Chu Qing's book. Chu Qing asked Yimao to show his injury, making Xiao Wu panic and hurriedly apologize for biting him. Amid the chaos, a student wearing the student council armband stepped forward and loudly asked what was happening. The orange-haired female student, vice president of the student council, sternly reminded that school is not a place for fighting and demanded all involved go to the teacher's office. Xiao Wu hurriedly pleaded for help, hoping the vice president would save him from Chu Qing's wrath. However, Chu Qing immediately grabbed Xiao Wu by the neck in front of everyone, causing him to suffocate and feel dizzy. Chu Qing pointed to Yimao's arm full of bite marks and accused Xiao Wu of irrationally biting his friend. Meanwhile, Xiao Wu was tearful and frantic, trying to beg for mercy. The vice president of the student council raised her eyebrows and smiled, countering with a question. Really? Then what are you doing here? Chu Qing quickly responded, claiming to be the brave one who intervened in the fight and deserved praise or reward from the student council. The audience behind laughed at his arrogant excuse. The vice president stepped beside Xiao Wu, lifted his head seriously. I want to hear what you have to say about this. Unable to speak, Xiao Wu could only shed tears like a waterfall. The girl in the student council jacket was stunned by the uncontrollable flood of tears, making the atmosphere both sad and comical. After being forced to tell the truth, Xiao Wu suddenly sobbed loudly, tears streaming like a waterfall, spraying directly into the vice president's face, causing her to step back in shock. The violent tear spray like a tsunami pushed Xiao Wu flying backward, the dazzling light leaving everyone stunned. Under the rainbow arch appearing after the divine tear spray, Xiao Wu silently turned his back and left amid the wide-eyed, bewildered crowd. Despite everyone laughing loudly, Xiao Wu covered his face, crying loudly, then ran headlong out of the schoolyard, leaving behind Chu Qing and Yimao standing calmly. Chu Qing turned to tell Yimao to check the bite wound on his arm. He also mentioned that since Xiao Wu left, Zhuo would not respond to them immediately. Chu advised Yimao to go find Tang Ziyan. Chu Qing sighed inwardly, silently blaming the harsh world for making Yimao cautious. However, he also felt happy that Yimao had bravely spoken up to help him. The orange-haired vice president, still angry about the recent incident, returned to the student council office. She was looking for someone to vent her frustration on. The purple-haired female student, leader of the student council, was intently reading documents when suddenly interrupted by a loud bang on the table. The vice president had appeared. The vice president angrily questioned, "Do you know what happened to your little boyfriend?" The words carried a hidden meaning aimed at the relationship between Chu Qing and the purple-haired female student. The vice president began speaking quickly and non-stop, recounting how Chu Qing caused trouble with Zhuo Buquin's people. Meanwhile, the purple-haired female student remained silent, listening with an expressionless face. After hearing everything, the purple-haired female student coldly asked back, "Isn't Chu Qing just teasing you guys?" The remark seemed to defend Chu Qing, turning the situation around. The vice student council president, with a stern look, advised Tang Ziyan to break up with Chu Qing. She excused herself by saying he was just an ordinary male student, unworthy of her. She also brought up past issues between Chu Qing and Yi Chengxi to apply pressure. Tang Ziyan said nothing, silently radiating a dark, murderous aura. Her eyes were cold and threatening, making the atmosphere tense. The vice president turned pale and hurriedly retracted her previous words. She stammered apologies and dared not mention anything unfavorable about Chu Qing again. Tang Ziyan calmly explained the situation. She was the one who asked Zhuo Buquin to remind Chu Qing to participate in the competition. But it was Xiao Wu who caused trouble first. According to her, Chu Qing was completely blameless. The vice president was surprised by Tang Ziyan's change. In her imagination, Ziyan had become unpredictable and was gradually being tamed by Chu Qing, the cunning fox. But Tang Ziyan remained silent, maintaining a calm expression. Chu Qing and Yi Mao went to the infirmary to treat the wound on his hand. Shortly after, Xiao Wu and a group of male students from the basketball team arrived, led by Troc, the team captain wearing jersey number 4. Troc angrily confronted Chu Qing for hitting Xiao Wu, claiming he was only there to deliver a message. He demanded that Chu Qing apologize immediately. While Troc was furious, Chu Qing threw a bunch of keys onto the ground in front of the group, leaving everyone stunned in surprise. Chu Qing smiled provocatively and said he would apologize if Troc picked up the keys. Troc gritted his teeth and responded angrily, declaring he would remember this and settle the score later. Troc left but did not forget to remind Chu Qing. "There's a basketball game this afternoon. Tang Ziyan told you that you must come." His tone decisive like a warning. After the fight, Chu Qing and Yi Mao sat in the infirmary. Suddenly, Zhuo and the basketball team members entered, their faces full of anger. Zhuo pointed directly at Chu Qing and loudly questioned him. He thought Chu Qing had gone too far by hurting Xiao Wu and demanded an immediate apology. Instead of reacting harshly, Chu Qing threw a bunch of keys toward Zhuo as a silent challenge, surprising everyone. Chu Qing gave a cold smile and said he would only apologize if Zhuo dared to take the keys. Zhuo angrily growled and promised he would not let this go. Before leaving, Zhuo reminded Chu Qing about the basketball game this afternoon. He warned him not to be absent because Tang Ziyan personally instructed that he must attend. Tang Ziyan and Li Huinger sat facing each other, their eyes tense as if a battle was about to break out. The atmosphere between them was like thunder and lightning, signaling a mental confrontation between the two teams. Chu Qing and Yi Mao entered the gymnasium. They walked through the crowded hallway, attracting the attention of many students gathered to watch the upcoming basketball game. Yi Mao was amazed to see the stands packed with people. He expressed that this men's basketball game was truly important, so much so that both student council presidents were present to watch. A male student wearing jersey number 15 waved to call Chu Qing and Yi Mao from afar. His friendly face and commanding attitude clearly made him stand out in the crowd. Zhang Fei, student number 15, introduced himself and signaled for Chu Qing and Yi Mao to follow him. He seemed to have a leading role in this game and was preparing for his team's lineup. Zhang Fei led Chu Qing and Yi Mao to the waiting area beside the court. He pointed to 2 chairs and told them to sit temporarily. Someone would notify them when it was their turn to enter the game. Chu Qing noticed something unusual. One of the 2 chairs was smeared with a sticky liquid that looked like glue, clearly a prank. Unfazed, Chu Qing turned to joke, thanking Zhang Fei for saving a seat for Yi Mao, then casually stepped forward. Chu Qing calmly sat down on the chair without glue, relaxed as if everything was under control. Zhang Fei showed clear tension as the plan failed. From behind, his figure was sweating, unable to hide his embarrassment. Chu Qing sat cross-legged next to the glue-covered chair, his cold and meaningful gaze leaving the onlookers speechless. Zhang Fei walked away in a daze, looking psychologically defeated, while Chu Qing maintained a confident, sharp smile. Chu Qing silently observed the chair beside him and confirmed. The glue was clearly visible, definitely a trap. A piece of paper was suddenly handed to Chu Qing, surprising him. He looked up to see who had sent it. Tang Ziyan coldly handed Chu Qing a note with a mocking message. "How does it feel to sit on the bench?" Her presence made the atmosphere even tenser. Chu Qing sat pondering with the note in his hand, wondering if Tang Ziyan was still angry with him after everything that had happened. He began writing a reply on the note he just received from Tang Ziyan, his expression focused but with a hint of mischief. Tang Ziyan glanced over when she saw Chu Qing writing something, her face showing caution and suspicion. Chu Qing turned around to show the note with the message. "Don't sit next to me," surprising and confusing Tang Ziyan. Tang Ziyan suddenly stood up after Chu Qing's teasing, her emotions out of control. Just as she stood, her sports pants tore wide open, revealing purple underwear that shocked Chu Qing. Tang Ziyan turned back, flustered and blushing from the embarrassing situation in front of the person she cared about. Chu Qing leaned close and whispered teasingly, "Purple," his mischievous smile making Ziyan even more angry and embarrassed. Chu Qing watched Yi Mao walk away looking confused, then told himself that it wasn't Yi Mao's fault, but the world was unfair. Now, Yi Mao was brave enough to stand by his side. In the student council's work area, Tang Ziyan and another purple-haired female student were sitting under a shelter. Suddenly, an angry orange-haired girl ran over. Tang Ziyan was still focused on reading documents when the orange-haired girl suddenly slammed her hand on the table, attracting everyone's attention. With an angry expression, the orange-haired girl questioned Tang Ziyan, Do you know what happened to your little boyfriend? She continued to pour out criticisms of Chu Qing, accusing him of causing trouble and getting Zhu Buquan's people into trouble, while Tang Ziyan silently listened with an indifferent face. Zhang Fei led Chu Qing and Yi Mao to the waiting seats for the competition, pointed out their seats, and told them to wait for their turn to be announced. Chu Qing suddenly noticed the chair next to him was covered in glue. His sharp eyes quickly realized it was a trap. He calmly indicated for Yi Mao to sit on the clean chair, while he himself sat on the glue-covered chair as if unaware, leaving Zhang Fei stunned. Zhang Fei was shocked to see Chu Qing was not caught in the trap at all. Instead, he sat elegantly with his legs crossed next to the glue-trap chair. Chu Qing smiled secretly when he realized Zhang Fei had fallen for the trick. He looked over and thought, the chair next to me was clearly smeared with glue, a dirty trick meant to disgrace me. Tang Ziyan smiled smugly, waving her hand to declare she would go on court first because the match was about to start. Chu Qing stood behind, clutching his chest in frustration, thinking only, this woman. The basketball match officially kicked off with a jump ball between Zhang Fei, red jersey number 15, and a blue team player number 14. The atmosphere in the gym became tense. Zhu, red jersey number 4, quickly caught the ball after the contest, his eyes determined, ready to launch the first counterattack for his team. Zhu dribbled straight into the opponent's area at high speed. The crowd began cheering wildly for his team. However, a blue team player with a ponytail suddenly closed in and executed a highly skilled steal, leaving Zhu no time to react. Tang Ziyan smiled confidently, declaring she would go on court first before the match started, leaving Chu Qing bewildered and frustrated inside, unsure whether to be angry or admire this girl. The opening match between the two teams officially began. Zhang Fei, number 15, from the orange team, and his opponent in black jersey number 14, both jumped up to contest the ball in a fierce jump at center court. The ball was controlled by the orange jersey number 4 male student. He quickly secured the ball with a determined look, ready to launch a counterattack. Orange jersey number 4 began dribbling aggressively forward. Unexpectedly, Zhu Buquan, a brown-haired male student with a top knot from the black team, suddenly closed in and smoothly stole the ball with a technical move. Chu Qing observed from the stands, nodding in approval of Zhu Buquan. He realized this skill was not simple and was surely the result of Tang Ziyan's strict training. Zhu Buquan continued dribbling while the orange team members chased fiercely. The match began to show a clear gap, to the point Buquan remarked that the opposing team was just like cats playing with mice. At the referee's table, Tang Ziyan and a short black-haired female student, previously identified as the vice president of the student council, were watching the match as supervisors or representatives of the organizing committee. The vice president glanced at Chu Qing and asked pointedly, "Is that your little boyfriend?" causing Tang Ziyan to fall silent and feel somewhat awkward. With a mischievous look, the vice president continued to provoke. If she won, Tang Ziyan would have to lend her little boyfriend for a month. Her words made the atmosphere between them even tenser. Tang Ziyan could no longer keep calm and immediately shouted loudly, "Get lost!" Her cold eyes clearly showed possession and a warning from the bottom of her heart. Tang Ziyan was provoked by the opposing team's coach, asking if she was afraid to lose, afraid of losing her little boyfriend. Tang Ziyan angrily retorted, declaring she was not afraid of anything. She asked back, "What if you lose?" The short-haired coach coldly declared if she lost she would run naked. Tang Ziyan sarcastically replied, "You would really be unlucky." With a sly and confident expression, the opposing team's coach seemed to have carefully planned for the match. Her eyes clearly showed challenge and implication. Standing in the middle of the court, the opposing female coach shouted at her students, "What are you waiting for? Show your real strength." Her shout instantly heated up the atmosphere on the court. Right after the command, Zhu Buquan, number 4 dark blue jersey, broke through extremely fast, directly facing the red team's number 4 opponent, ready to launch a strong counterattack. Zhu Buquan suddenly overtook the red team's number 4 opponent with a skillful spin, dribbling straight toward the basket, his eyes full of determination. Zhu Buquan jumped high, dodging the block attempt by player number 15 of the red team. He prepared to make a decisive shot amid the opponent's astonishment. The ball flew out of Zhu Buquan's hand, tracing an accurate trajectory in the air, heading straight for the rim. The ball gently passed through the rim, scoring for Zhu Buquan's team. The scoreboard updated. Blue team 49, red team 24. Tang Ziyan's eyes widened in surprise when she saw the score. She did not expect the match to turn unfavorable so quickly. Tang Ziyan turned to the opposing coach with an angry look, asking suspiciously, Did you do this on purpose? The red team's coach smiled arrogantly, reminding Tang Zian of the original bet condition. Don't forget you promised to lend me your little boyfriend for a month. I will treat him even better than you tilde. Chu Qing sat in the stands, watching the match with a serious gaze. On the court, the captain of Team 2 was controlling the ball, facing off against a player in a red jersey. In his thoughts, Chu Qing realized that the captain of Team 2 was actually hiding his true strength. His skill level far surpassed Zhu Buquan's, but there was something that always made Chu Qing feel uneasy. A voice called out, interrupting his thoughts. Someone urgently called his name. Chu Qing. Tang Zian stood in the middle of the court, looking seriously straight at Chu Qing and said, "It's your turn now." Chu Qing appeared relaxed, smiling as he said, "Why do I have to play? Weren't I invited here just to sit on the bench?" Tang Zian frowned and replied firmly, "Don't joke around, we can't lose." Tang Zian hesitated before confessing to Chu Qing that she had made a bet with someone else, and if she lost, she would lose him for a month. An embarrassed expression clearly showed on her face. Chu Qing looked surprised but still teased. He guessed that the person who bet with Tang Zian was the short-haired, red-haired coach from before, jokingly saying, "She's beautiful, you should have let me lose to her." Tang Zian was immediately struck by lightning by Chu Qing's carefree words. An imaginary stone seemed to fall straight on her head, showing her stunned and annoyed silence. Chu Qing gently soothed her with a promise to play on the court, but on one condition. "I want Zhu Buquan to be my cheerleader." The unexpected request left Tang Zian unsure how to react. Tang Zian smiled, accepting Chu Qing's strange request. "No problem, and—" Her unfinished sentence seemed to add something affectionate, hinting at a new development in their relationship. Tang Zian encouraged Chu Qing with a provocative reward. If he won, she would allow him to touch. Chu Qing's flushed face showed he was surprised and embarrassed by Zian's boldness. Zhu, a team member, appeared among the cheering crowd wearing a red cheerleader dress, her face showing clear humiliation. This was the price Chu Qing demanded if he had to play. Zhu had to wear the cheerleader outfit. On the court, Zhu seemed lifeless as she found herself forced into an embarrassing situation. Meanwhile, a male student wearing number 1 on an orange jersey appeared very pleased, likely an opposing member mocking her. Chu Qing, now in the number 11 jersey, stepped onto the court with a serious look, ready for the confrontation. He seemed to have set aside his usual humorous demeanor to show his determination. Zhu Buquan, captain of Team 2, prepared to make a throw, his eyes cold and sharp. From the start of the game until now, he had played calmly but seemed to be starting to exert full effort to maintain the team's advantage. Chu Qing suddenly made a strong throw toward the basket. His eyes radiated determination, stunning everyone on the court. Not missing a beat, Chu Qing dribbled quickly past opponents, while Zhang Fei, player number 15, closely followed behind to support. The jump with black and white shoes created a highlight. Chu Qing soared into the air, preparing to make the decisive shot. Chu Qing surpassed Zhu Buquan with a spectacular breakthrough move, breaking through the black jersey team's defense. Zhang Fei also advanced to create a coordinated press. The short-haired female coach, Tang Zian's opponent, laughed heartily at Chu Qing's bold play, seemingly very excited. The short-haired, red-haired coach, Tang Zian's personal rival, continued to provoke with teasing words. "Tang Zian, your little boyfriend is so bad, I might as well take him as my own." Tang Zian did not respond, only clenching her fists with eyes cold as ice. The score between the two teams became clearly lopsided. The red team was trailing by 34 points. An inner monologue voice sounded full of contempt. "Ha! 4 dogs are better than my teammates," that person decided. "It's time to show real strength." Chu Qing, now wearing the number 11 uniform, clenched his fist in front of his chest, his eyes cold and fierce, his spirit erupting. He no longer hid his strength, ready to explode on the court. Chu Qing jumped into the air, using incredible speed to glide past 2 defenders from the blue team. His lightning-fast change of direction left the opponents unable to react. In midair, he spun and launched a decisive shot. Chu Qing's shot broke through the circle of 4 defenders. The ball traced a beautiful arc, passing through blocking arms, flying toward the basket amid the stunned eyes of the opposing team. Zhu Buquan from the black jersey team tried to jump high to block the shot, but the ball still flew beyond his reach, heading straight for the hoop. Chu Qing surged forward, watching the ball's trajectory as he prepared for the next move. His eyes were full of determination and focus. In the stands, Team 1's cheer squad led by Zhu was no longer confused but excitedly shouting together, chanting the slogan, Team 1 fighting. Chu Qing skillfully spun the ball on his finger, confidently looking ahead. His demeanor filled the audience and teammates with hope. A close-up of Chu Qing's face revealed sharpness and coldness. His smirk showed that the moment for a real counterattack had arrived. The captain of Team 2, a brown-haired guy with half his hair tied back, wearing number 4, caught the ball in a defensive stance. Light radiated behind him as if signaling an important counterattack was about to happen. Before he could react, he suddenly received the ball from Chu Qing. A stunned expression appeared clearly on his face, as if he didn't understand what had just happened. Team 2 was collectively bewildered. What? Why did he pass the ball? They looked at Chu Qing in shock, who was smiling coldly and signaling with a meaningful gesture. Immediately, Team 1 reacted fiercely. Troc Zhuo, member of the orange team wearing number 4, shouted with teammates, "Traitor, bastard!" The short-haired coach, Tang Ziyan's arch-rival, laughed gleefully. She mocked, "Tang Ziyan, you're so cold to him that he couldn't wait and ran over to me." Meanwhile, Tang Ziyan stood silently, her face pale, hands gripping the chair tightly in silent anger. The captain of Team 2 clenched the ball tightly, his eyes determined, vowing to defeat Chu Qing at all costs. He jumped decisively, preparing to make a shot, putting all his strength into this crucial scoring opportunity. Chu Qing rushed forward with lightning speed, his eyes flashing cunningly, ready for a surprise counterattack. In a sly moment, Chu Qing pulled down the opponent's pants in the middle of the court, leaving Team 2's captain frozen and the entire stand stunned. He turned around, his face flushed with embarrassment, feeling exposed under the crowd's gaze. Chu Qing casually sat behind, his sharp eyes observing and mocking. Secondary sexual characteristics develop from age 17, but where's your Adam's apple?